Hi everybody, John Bishop here with John Bishop Fine Art, and you're listening to Art Chat, the podcast. Welcome back to the show. Got some things to talk to you about. Bogdan is still in Romania. We found out this morning that in fact he's come down with COVID. So that has pretty much changed the trajectory of what he's doing this week. But luckily it seems to be a pretty mild case and he seems to be doing okay. But it has changed a lot of his activities there. I wanted to talk a little bit about Romania and what it is he's doing there and what it is we're planning to do there with our new nonprofit, Aripa Arte. And Aripa is a Romanian word that means wing, and the whole idea is giving wings to artists, giving support to artists to hold them up and help them find success, or at least to kind of level the playing field for Romanian artists in an art market that is very, very competitive, particularly in a part of the world that is somewhat suppressed as far as art markets. But I want to start off with some sort of disclaimer. To me, it's really important to start off by saying there's nothing in what we're doing that in any way should imply that poor little Romanians need our help. That's just not in part of the equation in any way. I have this tremendous respect for Romania and for Romanians and what they're going through and have gone through. I lived there for 5 years when Bogdan and I met back in 2002. And Romania was a place that I knew very little about when I got there, but was blown away by just the wealth of tradition and the long history of great literature, of fine art, of music, of dance, and all of those amazing kind of handicrafts and in as much as those things can be distinguished from fine art. But the sculpture, and just the layers and layers of history that have gone into making that kind of mosaic of art traditions. And there's a great appreciation for art. I mean, you have to consider that in Romania is not one kind of thing. It's not this separate kind of homogeneous cultural heritage. It's a melting pot of its own. I mean, there were the Dacians who were kind of the original inhabitants after the Neolithic times. But what Romania shared was this incredible history of Europe, particularly Central and Eastern Europe, those kinds of traditions that developed throughout Europe, whether that be religious or cultural or both. And so they share that kind of pan-European culture, but, interrupted by the Romans and, well, probably before that, the Greeks, who came up through the Black Sea and inhabited the coastal regions. And the Romans came and until the Dacians just stopped them in their tracks and they couldn't go any further. There's a Slavic influence. There's, the Turkish influence, and of course I'm trying to think if I'm forgetting anyone, and of course the Russian influence. So there's all kinds of elements that have gone into this mixture to create the artistic and cultural and psychological makeup of Romanians. And their art has followed suit. And so there's this great wealth of kind of artifacts of classical import. But then there are also these wonderful, wonderful medieval artistic expressions and all these different kind of invaders who had come through, who left their mark on the art and the architecture and the writing and all of that, and the cuisines and the crafts. And so there's this incredible wealth that has always been highly valued in that part of the world. And don't forget, when they became communist, the communists really value artists, and those folks were highly valued. So, as well as sports figures and writers and poets and artists. And to be an artist in Romanian communist era, it was to be quite revered, and you had a good life, and you were taken care of. You were given a studio for life. You were featured. You were given opportunities abroad. You were taken care of and celebrated as a treasure in Romania. And so those folks, a lot of those folks are still around. They're older now, but they have been given studios and preferential treatment and things like that, and they're still there. So then you're faced with a younger generation of artists who were not necessarily raised, or maybe they lived during communism, but they weren't artists at the time, or they have come after the revolution in '89, and they don't have the same opportunities. Certainly, they don't have the same kind of clout and same kind of respect that were given to the artists in prior generations. And so these folks, you take that change in the way they are perceived and the way that kind of artistic career could develop, and then you multiply against that a depressed economy, because after the revolution things were very, very tough in a fledgling democracy, and so there wasn't a lot of money for anybody, and so arts get knocked down even further. And so for a lot of young artists in Romania, they left the country as soon as they could to go out and seek opportunities abroad, because there isn't a big art market inside Romania. There are not a lot of Romanians who are out there buying art. There are some, thank goodness, but there are a limited number of what they can buy and what they collect. And so for many, the opportunities are abroad. In fact, for most, the opportunities are abroad. And so they either have to move abroad and try and make it as artists in Berlin or in London or in Paris or wherever, Vienna and Italy, or they stay at home and they really don't have opportunities except to go to art shows that are in Berlin and London, and that becomes quite prohibitively expensive. And the ones who can go to London and Berlin are the ones who are working with galleries or who are funded through museum curations and things. And again, those folks only have a certain amount of bandwidth that they can support. And so if you are an artist coming up through the ranks in Romania, you've got a hard road. And then combine that with the fact that because of this tradition, this greatly kind of restrictive and exclusivity that was reserved for artists, that means that they had a lot of formal training. They had education, art degrees. So if you're coming up now and you don't have an important family name in arts, if you don't have an art degree, and you stay in Romania, well, you have like 3 strikes against you to start with. And so the whole idea of Aripa Arte was not to say poor little Romanians, but to say, is there anything that we can do coming from outside of Romania where we're not bound by the governmental restrictions, or we're not bound by the cultural traditions of art schools and proper art education, or that we're not part of the gallery system that, works to the best of its ability to support as many artists as it can. But to come in from outside and say, where can we help to level the playing field? Where can we come in, bringing money that is raised from outside of Romania, bring it to the Romanian art market and say, what difference can we make? How can we help? Most importantly, we want to do that in a way that doesn't compete with anyone else. We're not a gallery. We're not going to put galleries out of business. We're not an art school. We're not competing against those academic institutions. We're not a museum. We're not art dealers. We're not trying to make a profit off the artists or to take the funding away from other art institutions in Romania. We just want to come in and say we are a different layer that could help in different ways. And what we're doing with Aripa is we're doing basically 6 things we're doing. 1, fundraising. That's huge. We've got to raise money to be able to support artists. We're offering educational opportunities, and that might mean formal education. If somebody needs an art degree or feels they need an art degree, it might mean going off to outside of Romania and having coursework. It might mean taking online courses. It might mean just learning how to do business type things. Might be learning skills on how to be a better painter, a better illustrator, a better sculptor. So whatever that form might take, those educational opportunities are one thing that we're going to be supporting. Another is to give Romanian artists money. And that would be based largely upon their applications that say, here's what I need to make my art practice more successful. And so that would be customized to as much as possible to give the kinds of support that people need. I use one example. There's an artist I know who has his own studio. It's kind of a garage kind of environment. Doesn't have electricity. So he can't paint at night because he doesn't have lights except for a flashlight, some sort of battery-powered light. And he has no heat, so he can't really paint in the winter. So during the day when it's warm and he paints kind of out front, can you imagine how we would change his life if we got him electricity for his studio? I mean, his productivity would go through the roof. Maybe that's something that for many would seem like just taken for granted, but for him it would be a huge, huge change to his artistic career. And so offering those kinds of scholarship opportunities. We also have some bit of collaboration we want to do. And so that would be maybe working with some of the art schools or with the galleries or with the governmental institutions or with other non-governmental agencies that are working within Romania that kind of go along with our mission and vision, that maybe we can help support them so that their job is easier to do and that they're able to help as many people as they possibly can. So there is that bit of collaborative work as well. And maybe that's just bringing Romanians here. And the next bit that we do is an exchange, cultural exchange. So we would be able to send artists to residency programs, or maybe we host our own residency programs. Maybe we bring artists here to give speeches, to do residencies here, or to have exhibitions here, or maybe we send them to Berlin so that they can do a show. That we would have these kinds of exchanges, and maybe we trade places and send some American artists over and swap out with some Romanian artists. And so those kinds of exchange programs we're hoping to fund as well. There's also cultural programming, and that can take the form of either having speeches, maybe making videos, maybe writing books. maybe, or helping to support people who write books, ways in which we can offer an understanding of Romanian art outside of Romania, or outside the art communities of Romania. And that may be exchange programs, again, bringing artists back and forth. Maybe it's taking groups of collectors on some sort of art tourism and letting them experience Romania and its culture, and going around to the galleries and museums and artist studios while they're there in Romania. So there's those opportunities as well. So I mean, there's a whole lot, I think, that we can do. And we're very, very excited. We've got our gala coming up on March the 1st. We don't have our 501c3 status yet. It should be coming any time. I mean, we have to make that statement. If you'd like to give to the foundation, to the nonprofit, you can certainly do that. But you're not able to declare it off of your taxes until we have that 501c3 status. So, I suppose it's possible they would turn us down, but we're going through an attorney. There's no reason to think that that would ever happen. But it just takes a long time, and we're now 9-10 months in, and from what I understand, that's not abnormal. So hopefully that status will come through soon. We're having our first event, gala. We'll have an auction and just a lovely evening of people gathering together to kind of kick off the new nonprofit. So anyway, that's what we're up to. Bogdan is in Romania. We'll be there till the end of the month. He is meeting with artists. Hopefully he's not exposing them to COVID, but he's meeting with different artists. He's interviewing them so that we have some faces to show when we're starting to do our kind of programming and our outreach and fundraising, so that you can connect a face to the actual projects and the needs that these Romanian artists have. And so he'll be doing that, as well as buying some art from them that we're going to offer on a silent auction as a way to raise some funds and some awareness of them. So we're very, very excited about what's going on. Stay tuned, because we are really about to kick into gear with this, with the kind of inauguration of the nonprofit on March 1st. And very exciting times. Hopefully you'll be able to follow us and support us in any way that you can. Spread the word, because there are a lot of people who need help. And by the way, we don't just help Romanians in Romania. If there are people who live in Romania, like people who are like refugees who are in Romania from Ukraine, that counts too. And if you're a Romanian who have now moved to another part of the world, you're still a Romanian artist. And we would love to be able to work with you in the future as well. So exciting times. Keep us in mind. Check out the website, www.aripaarte.org. ARIPAARTE. And yeah, it's exciting. I'm very, very pleased. Can't wait to see where this goes. Thanks for your support. I'm going to let you go now. Have a wonderful week. Stay creative, and I'll see you next time. Have a great time. Bye now.